Greetings. I'm Lane.
And I'm Amber.
Hi, Amber. Good to see you. In this video, we are going to talk about trust, or rather, trusts, and the trust structure, and more specifically, our favorite type of trust, the ecclesiastical trust. Now, remember, this video is for informational purposes only. And by viewing and making use of this information, you are agreeing to take responsibility for your own results and experiences, and also agree to the bylaws of our associations now and in the future. So, shall we get to it, Amber?
Yes, definitely. We're so glad you're here to learn about trust. Today's goal for this presentation is to bring clarity and not hype. Trusts are tools, they're not loopholes. We're going to take a look today at some of the types of trusts that exist and how they're actually treated by courts and where they fit alongside our unincorporated ministries, churches, and PMAs.
Why does this matter?
So, unincorporated entities are common in faith communities, but that often means that assets are still legally tied to individuals. Trusts are frequently used to separate ownership, management, and benefit, but only if done correctly.
Mhm. Great. So, for this audience, the people that are watching, we're in this world of unincorporation. So, our ministries and our private associations, our churches are unincorporated. And that means that maybe people are holding their assets personally or informally, and liability follows control. So we want to have this separation and the stewardship, the management ability, uh, so that we don't have significant liability risks. And trust provide that vital mechanism for separation and stewardship of assets.
This is not a corporation, nor is it a contract workaround. What it is a fiduciary relationship recognized in both common law and statute, where courts care deeply about who controls the assets and who benefits. The trusts create layers of differentiation between that control and the benefit.
Nice. So, what is it? It's a legal relationship. It's not an entity itself, and it involves some key players, right? So, there's a grantor or settler, there's trustees, and there's beneficiaries. And these are governed by trust and equity law, although, as we'll see, it doesn't always apply to a courtroom setting. And it's this legal relationship that involve those key parties and ensuring that those fiduciary duties are upheld, which is essential for effective asset stewardship.
What trusts are not. Trusts protect the structure, not the behavior.
I like that.
Take a look at if the same person controls, benefits from, and uses assets personally, courts will collapse the trust regardless of the name.
Mm-hmm. And so it's important that we realize that trusts they separate legal ownership, they provide this continuity and limit liability exposure. A great example is if there isn't a trust in place, someone dies, then the courts take over and that estate goes through probate, and trust can protect against that. Trusts don't override civil law, they don't eliminate taxes automatically, and they don't protect against fraud or misuse. So pick your trustees wisely. And they're also often misunderstood. So they're not corporations or business entities, nor are they contracts or loopholes. And we need to understand these distinctions between what they do and what they do not do. Protections and limitations, aren't there?
The protections are trust provides separation of legal ownership. They ensure assets are managed independently for the intended beneficiaries. What this means, the trustee's purpose is to manage the assets for benefit of the beneficiaries, and they have a lot of freedom in how they do that. However, their intention needs to be set for the beneficiaries.
Yeah,
And
again, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, what do they not protect, Lane?
Yeah. We were on the same page, just I was a little early. They do not protect against that personal misuse or fraud, and they don't automatically eliminate tax liability. Uh, Here's our favorite type of trust.
Ecclesiastical trusts are real and well established. They've also been around a very long time. These trusts work best. These trusts work best with holding ministry assets long term.
Mm-hmm. So it's a form of irrevocable trust and an irrevocable ecclesiastical trust, and also known as an express trust. So some of the studying I've done says that this is the hardest to penetrate, this type of trust. They are definitely in use for religious and ministry purposes. They hold property and assets for ministry use. They are still subject to civil law. So you can put property, bank accounts, ministerial associations, membership association, vehicles, all types of different assets inside this trust as long as they're dedicated to that religious and ministry purpose and ensuring stewardship in alignment with faith-based missions.
Ecclesiastical trusts protect mission assets, not individuals. When assets are used primarily for personal benefit, the trust is likely to fail.
Wow. So we'll go a little backwards here then, since you were on that. They don't shield personal assets. They don't protect personal assets from creditors or misuse. And again, we want to make sure that we're looking at that authentic trusteeship with the grantor, the trustee, and the beneficiary roles. They've got some pretty good strengths with this clear faith-based purpose, supporting our ministry initiatives, and ensuring resources are used for ministry objectives effectively. And they have a long-standing recognition and are excellent for property stewardship.
I want to share that if somebody has a trust and they have a question on how to run the trust, always look at your documents, look at the bylaws of the trust articles and see what it says, and follow the internal instructions of the internal governance structure that's already there. And that is what makes it strong, is that it provides its own governance.
Yes, the directions right in the founding document of your trust.
Lane and I have started a community for those who have unincorporated associations, ministries, and churches.
Yeah, so if you are a founding director or trustee of one of those entities, we've got a special invitation for you.
Join us at Unincorporated Liberty. You can visit our website, unincorporatedliberty.net, and fill out our form, agree to membership, and follow the prompts. We like to make sure that our members are indeed founding directors of trustees of unincorporated associations, ministries, churches, and trusts, that we have asked to see the signed last pages of your bylaws. That is one of our membership sign up processes, and I hope that you appreciate how important it is to be scrutinized, that we have a safe place to support one another and talk deeper into topics like these and many other topics that come up.
Yes, in Unincorporated Liberty, we go beyond the founding documents and navigate the mostly uncharted territory territory of running an unincorporated entity. So when you click on the link below in the show notes, that'll take you to that website and the process that Amber was just talking about. So, and also if you're liking this content, please remember to like, subscribe, and share wherever you're watching it. Thanks, Amber.
Yeah, glad to have you with us. Also, we have live calls and a lot of support, community support. All
Great.
right, let's go back into the trust.
Okay, so we've got a couple other types of trust to talk about. Again, we're not going to go as deep into these as we did with the ecclesiastical trust, but we want you to know that there are lots of other types.
Mhm. This one, the Unincorporated Business Trust, is a way to operate in commerce, in the public. It's similar to an S corp. It's
Mm,
sometimes used instead of an LLC,
okay,
and it is used for managing and holding assets. Unincorporated business trusts are legitimate, but they're also not invisible. Banks, courts, and regulators scrutinize them more than corporations because they're less familiar.
okay,
So for one to go ahead and operate, they're instead of having a public business that's licensed, they could operate that in an unincorporated business trust. However, it takes research to make sure you know what you're doing.
correct. They also can be statutory or common law, and they do depend upon state recognition. But it's a nice framework for holding and managing assets without the formal corporate structure, like you said, similar to an S corp. And they can benefit ministries and organizations that are looking for an alternative management option. So we always want you to do what's best for you. So maybe it's a good thing to think about.
All right, their weaknesses, risk assessment on the unincorporated business trust, they fail for the same reason any trust fails, control and misuse. Courts apply substance over form. Make sure that you're operating correctly and look at those documents and make sure that you are following the internal governance procedures laid out in the founding documents of your unincorporated business trust or any other trust.
They can be strong because if the purpose is legitimate and the trustee is independent, and we always say keep good records. So the records need to be well kept and clean. And we already talked about that.
Common statutory trusts are most familiar forms in court. Familiarity matters, predictability matters, and especially when assets and disputes are involved.
These are very familiar to a lot of people. So there's the revocable living trusts, the irrevocable trusts, charitable trusts, and testamentary trusts. They come in these various forms that can cater to different needs, and each serves a unique purpose and offers distinct benefits, ensuring that effective asset management and protection tailored to specific circumstances.
No one structure does everything. Many organizations use more than one lawfully and transparently. An unincorporated ministry can act like a trust because it can hold property and assets, but it is not a trust. Vulnerability. If property is in the name of the director, but not the ministry, it should go in the name of the ministry or the trust.
Mhm. So we can look at this, a bit of a comparison here of trust types. So there's a purpose is, if the purpose is to hold the ministry property, then the type of trust would be the ecclesiastical trust. If the purpose is for business operations, statutory business trust or corporation. And if the purpose is for estate and continuity, then the irrevocable trust would work. And we know we can combine the two. Um, and I loved what you said on a different call, was that the ecclesiastical trust manages the unincorporated ministry, And the unincorporated ministry manages the private membership association. I think that's just a wonderful way to look at this hierarchy of how it all fits together in that scenario. So we're outlining here some key differences and similarities between those trust options that are available for ministries and unincorporated organizations. So this can assist the leaders in selecting the most appropriate trust type.
Some common misunderstandings. Most trust problems don't come from law. They come from unrealistic expectations and bad advice, bad management. Understanding state law is practical and probably doesn't apply to an ecclesiastical trust in many cases. However, it is also still good to be aware of what what area you are in and what laws are common there.
Right. And I was just going over ecclesiastical trust document earlier today and noticing where it said that if some property was in a different state that it may not apply, that jurisdictional line may not apply in the trust circumstance, depending on how it was written and how the asset was placed. So it can apply and sometimes doesn't apply. Always good to learn more. These are kind of some myths where some people think trusts eliminate liability. No. Religious language prevents enforcement. No. Unincorporated means protected, not always. And structure doesn't equal immunity. I think it's worth noting that we just go back to that if there's clear and present danger or something that's clearly, obviously against a state or federal law that's dangerous, then those things wouldn't apply.
Always act ethically and with awareness.
Yes.
Planning forward. Courts look backward. Trusts work best when created before disputes, debts, or enforcement issues.
Definitely. Don't try to use them afterwards, right? Yeah. So they're wonderful stewardship tools. The asset protection does depend upon the separation, the governance, and the administration, and get that structure before the problems arise. So this is it's always good to think about these things and stuff down the road, so that we're maintaining that legal integrity, and we don't want to make those mistakes of blurring personal and trust assets and solely using the trust for liability avoidance, and then neglecting necessary oversight and formalities. Those can definitely jeopardize the trust effectiveness and the compliance.
What we hope we bring to you today is clarity and alignment, that you can move forward from here as a starting point or as a middle point to learn more about trusts and how they are useful and in what situations that they could work for you. And this isn't about fear. It's not taking action out of fear. This is about making sure that we are clear and able to move forward in the best situation for us and those around us and for our communities and fellowships.
Yeah. So you want to review where your assets are currently being held. It's not wrong where they are, just like something to start thinking about. Identify that control versus the benefit of what you're planning to do. Get that jurisdiction specific advice and match that structure to purpose. Again, trusts are fiduciary relationships and they enable effective asset stewardship for ministries and churches. So we hope that you have a better understanding of their nature and their limitations and applications. And then we do hope that you will click on the link below and join us in Unincorporated Liberty. And also, if you already have an unincorporated ministerial association, a ministry, a church, you might be thinking about, well, okay, it's time to do a trust, and we're here to help you with that as well. So you can click on the contact links for either of us or both.
Certainly, we're here to help and share this amazing information. It's about freedom
Mhm.
and operating in divine, honoring God and God's kingdom. So connect with us today. Here's our email and there's our website. We're happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks, Amber.
Thank you as well, Lane. This was fun.
That's fine.